Hey, Senator, it's Pastor Kevin. I just wanted to take a minute and reflect on what happened at No Limits, our worship event this past Sunday night. It was a great success. We came together as a community of young adults and we worshiped God together. I like how Josh, our worship leader, put it. It was a party. We just wanted to party with God and have a good time. And I think he was pleased. And we had lots of new faces come out. We had some old friends come out. We had a lot of our regular centered crowd come out. Probably close to 180 people or so came out. So we had huge numbers. We streamed it live. We tested that for the first time. And so some people who wouldn't normally come out or wouldn't normally hear the message that they heard that night did hear that. We got some feedback about that. So that was interesting. Several people responded to the gospel message on that night. And several more people responded to the challenge to not just trust Jesus for their salvation, but to really make him Lord and King of their whole life as well. To give every aspect of their life to following Jesus, to really live for him. So we need to encourage and pray for those people. And that's part of what this community is about. We worship God in community. We do life together. We encourage one another. And we pray for one another. And we study the Bible together. We do life together as a countercultural community. A couple of things that really touched me that night, emotionally and spiritually, happened outside of the scheduled event, kind of. And the first was this. The first was that after the event was over, there was a large number of young adults who gathered around a couple of our own who were leaving to go on mission trips and prayed for them out loud and passionately, and lifted them up to God and lifted up their mission to God and really called out to God to be glorified through what they were doing and encouraged them. And as I reflected on that, it moved me because I was thinking months ago, a year ago, we didn't even have that many people coming out to Centered, let alone be willing to pray for one another in that way. And it was huge, and it was very touching, and it was a great moment. And the other thing that really touched me was just the amount of involvement we had from our own people as we hosted this event. Not just the worship team, who, by the way, worked very, very hard to prepare for this event and prepared the lighting and the sound, but also the guys that did work sound and video that night, the people who helped set up and tear down. A really big thing was the greeters, who also interacted with the crowd and did some extra things behind the scenes. And the fact that they were willing to give of their time and their energy and their talents to worship God by serving in that way was huge. And I believe that now we're getting to the point as a group, as a community of young adults, we're getting to that point where God's showing us that there are no limits to what he can do through us. That's the great thing about this. There just are no limits. And now we can start looking outside of these walls and looking at the college and looking at downtown Barrie and looking at ways to follow God's mission to expand his kingdom, whether it's through Campus Alpha or whether it's through involvement at Georgian Christian Fellowship, or whether it's through partnerships with other churches and serving in our community, or whether it's leaving Barrie and going out to the ends of the earth with this message. I'm convinced that God has great things in store for us as a group. God has great things in store for each one of us as individuals, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. You should know that your church loves you, and I love you, and I'm looking forward to continuing this journey with you. We'll see you as we continue to worship and study together at Centered this Sunday night.